Coach, welcome back to Nepal. It's been a long time and we've not met since the World Cup ended. So I want to take you back to that moment. We came close to upsetting two test nations and big nations. We fought well against the Dutch as well. How do you feel looking back at the campaign? Happy that we fought and took the match to the end, or more sad that we couldn't get over the line?
Seems like a distant memory, Subas. Thanks for welcoming me. At the moment, actually, when you were talking about this special World Cup memories, the thoughts went. Yesterday, I was at Mulpani. I was watching Pokhara and Biratnagar game in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the under-19 girls were practicing over there. So, while standing on that ground and looking at the entire view, which was jam-packed with all our fans around, it took me back to 2023 and thinking about that first week of November when we crossed the line in that qualification game against UAE. There was a sense of build-up of expectations and of course the excitement and the curiosity towards 2024, what will it bring, especially for this young dreams, the Rhinos who were going to play the World Cup. I thought, looking back, we were able to push and get quite a few number of T20 games. We had almost 30 plus T20 games, quite a few unofficial games as well. We went to Vapi to play against Gujarat and Baroda, who are right now playing Syed Mushtaq Ali, and then of course the Asia Cup qualifiers, which was disappointing again to lose against UAE in the semi-finals. But then the entire build-up for the World Cup, I thought we were very confident as far as those games goes, and when I reflect back, at least we competed well in all three games. That much I will definitely say, that boys were able to compete. I say boys, they're still not men because they have not been able to win the big moments in the game, and that's the part which will remain as an ongoing process for them to learn, to grow. But overall the campaign for the cricket world, I would say, we left an impact, but to my expectation there was a bit of disappointment. We should have won at least one game.
After the World Cup, the team had some rest and it was back to North America again, starting from Canada for our League 2 campaigns. We lost 3 matches, one was a washout. Of those 3, I think one match went very close. What went wrong, or was it just 2 results and the process was the same? What do you want to say about that too?
No, the most important thing which went wrong is that we were not good enough in these games, and our mindset. I think one of the things which from my personal experience so far, again it's part of the growth that I talk about, and it's a constructive, if we have to say, it's a constructive criticism for all of us, including us as management, that we were not able to pull this together. Batting first in alien conditions seems like a mindset issue with us. We are not able to overcome the old thoughts and rewire ourselves towards being excited about those challenges and bring out the best potential that we have out there to present it to these teams. So in that regards, yes, we put ourselves down, frankly, and that close game against Oman, I think again, one big point of that game was to see Gulshan, the way he batted and he bowled. That kid is growing. Of course, skipper Rohit also chipped in nicely with Arif to give us a strong platform with good partnership, which allowed us to at least score runs. We batted full 50 overs for a change in away conditions. I mean, that's one area that I also have been pushing and challenging them. Okay, no excuse. They cannot give any excuse. We prepared for that. Yes, one way we can look at it is that we could have gone a little more early, but we had different challenges for that. So overall, Oman and games against Oman and Canada, I think we let ourselves down.
Then we went to the US and we won T20 series 3-0. We looked fabulous. Sompal was excellent in the series, especially in that death over and super over bowling, and Bhutto looked in good touch. How good was the team against that US side? I think they were even better than the World Cup squad.
One, obviously the T20 on the same game, so we wanted to put up a show on the Dallas ground. We know that we had a close game against Netherlands. Yes, evening games to different conditions. Let me also take that as an important aspect of the game, because morning games, like I said, I want to challenge them. I want them to take up and embrace. But to look at the brighter side of the US tour, to win against a formidable side like USA and win all 3 games, At least we were able to bring out the brand of cricket that we belong, and the fierce competitor we talk about. Sompal Kami, special mention out there. I think he was the most disappointed person not to seal the game against Oman, defending similar runs. But over here to defend that and then come back again in super over to bowl with so much of clarity and conviction. That is what we look forward to as a senior player like Sompal to keep doing it again and again, more consistently.
The mixed results followed in ODI. I think that goes on to say, if you look at the results, are we just better team for T20 format, or it's just few matches here and there that you can't just rate the team that way?
No, I think, see, white ball cricket, both formats, we have to be good. That is one thing. And when I reflect from last year's performances with all these individuals who were involved in the most difficult phase, yes, home conditions for sure, but still difficult phase, and also unknown territory of chasing 280 plus runs in, yes, advantage home conditions, but still it was in one way unknown territory for them, to chase those runs every time new phase stepping up. We haven't done that again, and we played a lot of T20 games, but again, we can never use that as an excuse. I think at the international level, we all are professionals, and that is what we try to say now, that we are professionals. We are no more just those young dreams. Keeping that in mind, all the 2 games that we lost against US, I think both the games we should have won, and that would have been a clean sweep for us in US. We had scored enough runs in that first game, and we could not cross the line there. While chasing against USA again, we got all those individuals got starts. We should have definitely, top order should have definitely batted all 50 overs and won us the game. So in that regards, whether or not we are good, I mean, again, I'm not pretending and I'm not creating any facade out here, but for me, I've seen them enough very closely through my eyes, and I think I've got wealth of experience of having worked around the world. I do believe that they have enough skills to present at least against these associate teams to win these games.
So it's not the first time that we've struggled in our conditions, but if you see, there were moments where our team was on the top and even got close winning matches in those matches. We know the fans, they're not fully satisfied with the results, and you told after the previous cycle ended that we need to manage our expectations. So is it that our expectations have become high, or are the results being over-exaggerated by the fans?
I don't know. I mean, I don't look into all the comments that fans probably put across. I do come across some messages from players at time. I can read through their body language, or sometimes from the management. Okay, but look, I mean, if I only talk from my lenses and the way I am wired myself, I'm a very positive person, and in that regards, expectations, and I understand the expectations, and I have also given that message. But we should look at some of those games where we have fought so closely. For me, we could have ended up winning 4 games from this year. There was one game at home against Namibia we should have won. There were important moments in those games where we had certain players who had partnerships. You don't expect everyone to score runs in every game. That is not the way white ball cricket anywhere in the world. You will get 1 or 2 times someone will have a purple patch. They'll perform each and every game, like we had Rohit against West Indies all games when he performed. But most of the times you will have batters, if I talk about, batters will show up some days they'll get out. But the day they end up showing up, they should finish the game. That's where we have missed out. So I hope I have answered your question correctly. I mean, for the fans, the only thing which I would say is that it's an ongoing process, guys. I can vouch for the fact that there is enough work which is put in place. I'm just not giving words over here, and there are enough people who are taking responsibility, management side, who discuss with the players one-on-ones. We all, including myself, we sit with players one-on-ones, we discuss a lot of things, and whatever opportunities we get, we train hard. I think the volumes of training in all those places, I will look into it again. I think this is an opportunity again for me to unpack a lot of things which has happened so far, and take into the insights and make sure that those insights which I get in, how constructively I put forward to in future plans. And I'm excited about future again, what it will bring for us in the next year.
talking about the expectation and the fans, we see the players and the team getting a lot of stick from memes, trolls in social media, and maybe some dissatisfaction at the spectators from the stands as well. How do you handle it with the added pressure of that loss and the fans' dissatisfaction at the same time? How tough is it to handle all this?
I would suggest everyone should sympathize with fans, man. You know, they will obviously come out with their emotions. You know, you should be thick skin, smile, and you know, still show your good heart. Not soft heart, I would say good heart. You know, we can understand they are there to come and celebrate victories, and when you don't get the victories for them, they will obviously bash you. They'll put some comments across to you, and that is part and parcel of sport. But what one should do is you should just look at the mirror and look at your own efforts. And one of the messages in the dressing room is that hold on to the base camp. What I mean by that is we obviously want to get closer to the summit, but at the moment we consider that our standard of performance that we're trying to define and the way we want to approach all the games, in that the comments which comes across from the fans as well, how do we shield ourselves from that and ensure that a good thought process is in place. And I think, again, I'll put it across for the fans as well, and Subas, of course, you and other media, let us look at the narratives from a lot of aspects. I mean, there are certain things which you will believe from your thought process, understanding cricket, that this should have been done, this should have been done. There are certain things which we sit and we think that, you know, this is the way to do it, or these are the things that we could have done it differently. But we'll still not complete the whole analysis. You'll still have to dig in few more aspects of it. And that's what we keep doing. And we'll try to keep on making it even better as the challenges comes to us. We are always going to embrace challenges.
So our captain Rohit has been leading the team since your appointment, and he was appointed within long-term future. And at times there are questions raised against his decision by the fans especially, but overall, how do you see him growing into the role, and what are your views on his long-term service at this role?
Look, young captain, he's bound to face scrutiny for some tactical decisions on the ground, but it's not only him, you know, it's the think tank together who are always going to be questioned. And we should never forget that he was brought into this leadership role in the most difficult situation that country was facing last year. And for him to grow through that, embrace those kind of challenges, and then on the journey, mistakes do happen. And mistakes are inevitable, and those mistakes are also part of the growth. I keep saying that. The champion mindset people around the world have always taken errors, mistakes as part of their learnings, and they bring it across and they implement it. Yes, in our case, probably we can say that some of the mistakes are done more with a lesser gap, and we want to reduce that gap of mistakes that we do so that we can get better results. But we have healthy conversations around it. And Rohit, for me, not just on field, when he's a proper all-round leader, he's someone who looks into each and every aspect along with me. He spends time doing a lot of homework with Raman, who brings in numbers and videos. He spends time with Coach Nandan, who also is part of my leadership group, where we do a lot of planning and preparation. We had Coach Pubu also in the last tour, right? So Rohit is someone who has got growth mindset, who will go to all important minds around, including some of the senior players. And then he obviously tries to bring in his own mindset on the ground. So we need to keep invested in Rohit, man. You know, I think any country which bring on the long run, who gets success, they have certain leaders who are in place for a little longer period, and that's an investment which you do, because that's how you grow. You know, I like keep saying they have to grow as an associate team. That is where the opportunity is for us right now. It's a long journey. It's a grinding journey as well. Leadership also is something very similar. So let's support him.
About the performances, so in the last year we had Sandeep Lamisan in the team, and who kept breaking the partnerships, who kept taking crucial wickets for us during the matches. So he has not been as consistent, because the ceiling of expectation that has been from him is not performed accordingly. So has that hurt the team, because the quality of player he has been for the team, the performance is not coming? Has that hurt?
So not just Sandeep, Sompal Kami, KC Karan, Lalit Rajbansi, these are the four at least I can identify very clearly who are the senior pros for me now in this team. So at times, this is critical part of leadership as well. You know, at times it will happen. So I would not just finger point Sandeep. For that matter, we know that Sompal was not able to close the last over against Oman. But in phases, there are times when, yes, they have not been able to live up to their own expectations. And again, that is somewhere, constructive feedback which we as coaches give it to them and make them understand that the next available opportunity, they need to develop their skills even more sharper, so that when they play the game again, they bring their A game. It's an ongoing process. You do some mistakes, you come back, you take the constructive feedback, you work hard, you come out again, and you execute your skills. Executing your skills under pressure is something which we need to do it consistently. Becoming consistent, not just with the ball, with the bat and on the field. We have done lapses on the field as well. At times you have dropped some crucial catches. At times you have misfielded some important runs. So all this is something which we want to clean up and do it even better. They obviously are all accountable. We are accountable. We are all accountable together.
Another change that we've noticed is Kushal Patel coming down the order with Anil and Asif opening consistently. So what was the thought process behind the decision? Because we've seen you backing Kushal in the last year, but and has the change been as you desired?
Look, at least when it comes to the last tour in US, I think it worked out very well for us. In 2 years, the number of players that I've seen, not many. PM Cup was the first PM Cup last year, which I was able to look through. And through that, the most consistent player, Anil, we had picked him in our national side back. He has also opened the innings over here very regularly. So keeping that thought process in mind, that Anil also is a good opener, we gave it a go, because we wanted to make sure that we utilize Kushal Bhultar in the best possible way. I think sometimes there has been a challenge around new ball early on, and we wanted to make sure that these three batters, for me, through my lenses, at least in this country, so far whatever I've seen, are the best potential top order batters, and that's why we are invested in them. And we have seen that when they have done well, we have won games. And just one change here and there. And also, Prabhash, I'll go one more step further. With batting orders, what is important is that what kind of conditions you'll walk in, what bowlers you will face. We train enough for that. If someone is going as an opener, he faces enough new balls, what scenarios he'll walk into, either he'll get suddenly a left arm spinner at the top or a seamer at the top. We discussed those scenarios before and we train for that. So our mentality is going away from numbers, what order you bat, but more importantly, what skills you present in that phase to win those phases. Okay, and that has worked for us last year. This time it has not worked, I know that for sure. But we train for that. There is a lot of preparation which happens to make sure that they go there with that mentality to win those one ball battles, to win those phases and cross the line for us and win the games.
One other change that we've noticed from the last year is happy dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
Not the dressing room inside, but the segment, the media outcome that Can had been producing, and I think that kept the fans and the team connected within what's going on within the team. We've not seen the happy dressing room being out, and it's not. Is it only not public on video, or has the tradition just stopped? Is the dressing room still happy? That has been the question outside.
Is that a question from fans?
You can take it as that.
Yeah. A happy dressing room, the deepest fundamental value in a happy dressing room is accountability. So not to worry about happy dressing room being happy or not. It will have its own emotional ride as well, because when you don't win games and you are, like earlier you said, you're bashed by your fans, some of these players I can see, emotionally at times it burdens them up as well. But to answer your question, the happy dressing room episode is not coming consistently. That is not my department. It's the media which comes into play as well. But I think if I have to rationally use it, it's more to do about also the budgets when you're traveling away. How many of those media people can travel and do those things? But lately, I think when in US, Sajan was around. So Sajan was back to those episodes with us. We do that. Our happy dressing room thing happens when the cameras are not around as well. Right? I don't think we want to always present it to the world out there, but definitely understand fans' sentiments. And so hopefully that will happen more when we are at home. When you are away, I think it comes down to budgets. That's the way I'm assuming. I'm not the right person to answer that correctly. But a happy dressing room, it has got a lot of layers, mate. I think, sometimes I've also come across that what is this happy dressing room, and people laugh it off. It's got a deep understanding, right? The most important fundamental value when I walked in over here, which is part of my coaching philosophy as well, is relationships. The happy dressing room starts with relationships. We have tried to build openness around it. We have created a lot of oneness in the team. And as we go more deeper with our fundamental values, I think the self-awareness, self-discipline is where we are constantly molding them, educating them. The grit that we need in phases of the game, that is something which is a message across to them, that they show up, they remain brave. As we go even more deeper in a happy dressing room, the youthfulness needs to be there, the energy which we need. You need to be bubbly, you need to be always excited about challenges that are around. And like I said earlier, the deepest fundamental value which we believe in is accountability. And as a head over there, I'm also equally accountable.
I want to add up a situation after the 1-run defeat against the South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So we had all the team in the ground after the lights are off, but the team was still in the ground discussing after that South Africa match. I want to take you there because I think it was the peak of Nepalese cricket. We didn't get over the line, but what was the discussion in the dressing room at that period after that heartbreak?
See, they were numb, and we had quite in emotions. I think absolutely numb is one way to say it. People were not able to believe what had just happened. There was obviously a lot of sadness around as well, because 1-run defeat is not easy to swallow. I was able to understand that, but the most important message which was going in the dressing room is that bring in that mindset. It's not easy, bring in that mindset that we have crossed the line, and bring in that excitement, that we are going towards next game against Bangladesh to qualify for the World Cup. Super 8. So that was it, man. I think many felt, Anil also felt very sad about the fact that, he was there with Asif to take it more deeper, and he could have played it a little differently, or to an extent, we were saying, why don't you just clear that park and hit a 6? That's the way he was looking at it. A lot of emotions. I don't think how I can describe that even now. But yeah, the only reminder from my side over there was that we have left a statement against a big side. They reached finals without losing a game. So, and the only place where it came back probably in those challenges was against India in the crucial phase of the game. So it is what it is. This is how cricket pans out to so many people.
I would come to the present now with NPL coming up, and I want to take you to the auction. When the auction was held, the team was in Canada, and we heard from a lot of players, but can you share from your viewpoint how was the environment that night before the auction and environment after the auction?
There were small little talks around all these boys, but I slept. I was only focused on my role at that point. In the morning, I could see at the breakfast that some of the players picked by some of the marquee players, they were all enjoying their breakfast together. So I said, interesting over there, but obviously on a lighter note. We'll see now. It's a good platform. It's a good platform. We have seen what IPL has done to India. Hopefully, the infrastructure, all these things, I see there's a bit of change at TU. As all those things fall in place, I've seen a lot of interesting international players who are also joined different franchises with wealth of experience, and also the commentators. So it will be exciting to see NPL and see some new talent, how they grow.
How pivotal it is going to be, not just from the cricketing side of things, but the finances, the players, not just the national team players, but hundreds of players are going to be benefited with that. How important is that from financial side of things?
Massive, right? It gives them a bit of security. If you take into perspective of the normal Nepali person over here, to earn the bread, the amount of hard work that person has to go through. And I know that cricketers were, at least the earlier generation cricketers were struggling to meet their ends. In that aspect, all these youngsters who are picked in different teams, they'll be so happy, that they have some security in place. They can focus probably a year, 2 years with that money in hand and keep getting better. They should invest some part of their paddle up monies which they have received in their own development. That will help them to grow even more.
As a coach, what will you be looking at in this NPL to be specific? Because we have the World Cup qualifiers coming up as well.
See, T20 is a way to go forward. I think for associate, like I keep saying, T20 is a format where we can definitely beat some teams. We haven't beaten any test nation teams yet. So that is one drive, that going forward in next year, who knows, we'll see. Going forward next year, that is one of the drives, that hunger that we have, that you want to cross the line against the test nation teams, and T20 is a format that we can do. So in NPL, I'm definitely looking forward to some of these players. Conditions will challenge us because I think the first game starts early morning, and if you have seen how it happens over here, but the pitches have been curated again. Hopefully the groundsmen will do a lot more hard work to make sure that early morning dew and other things do not hamper the first game. But from my lenses, and I'm sure from CAN management point of view as well, and the selectors point of view, we look forward to some new faces, how they step up, including some of them who are not with the national side right now, but how they try to show up with their skills and challenge us even more that they belong to the national side.
As you mentioned, some foreign players, quality players are coming up. How big of an opportunity is this for those players who've been in the national setup, and for those new players who are sharing the dressing room with these elites for the first time?
Massive opportunity. They should take every small window where casually on during breakfast in the morning or just being in the bus to have a conversation with them, not to shy out. I would urge all the Nepali youngsters who are in different franchises that if this is your dream, just push yourself, have a conversation with all these players, and pick their brain, because that's how I know that in IPL long back, the youngsters were able to interact with the more established overseas players and understand. And if you see the brand of cricket, which, I am from India, so I know it very closely, that's why I'm putting it across. But I'm equally passionate about Nepal cricket. So it's just an example I'm using, that you see the amount of fearless cricket which they are playing right now is something which I am hoping, at least in this T20 format, we should be able to bring it immediately.
The TU at the current state looks transformed from what it was the last year. We've got new pitch, we've got extended boundaries, the spectator stands are there. What was your first feeling when you got into the ground when you came back in Nepal?
I felt very good, man. TU ground, not just for the development which has happened, but honestly it feels like it's your own home ground kind of a thing. So it's a belonging place where you come in and then you see that okay, some more positive changes are happening. And when you try to visualize that one day it could be with floodlights in a stadium, what a wonderful feeling that will be when you have probably 40-50,000 seats capacity stadium out there with floodlights, with mountains behind. Oh, an amazing venue for people to come over and play games, watch games. Already going in that direction. So a lot of credit for CAN management to make sure that they were working so hard in the background. I know that Paras has been making a lot of efforts. Of course, everyone in CAN management along with the secretary, Binod, and our GM Utsav. I don't want to take all the names, but entire CAN management, they have been working very hard in the background. Hopefully this NPL leaves a mark. I know that it's getting telecasted also on Star Sports. So that is again another positive thing that has happened.
I wanted to add that the day-night thing. So the floodlights has been in the talking for a long time, but it looks like a year from now there will be floodlights and this prospect of playing day-night matches. How excited are you that we will be getting to play day-night matches and hopefully some big teams as well?
Just imagine for a moment. Let's just close our eyes and imagine that next December we are watching a game in floodlights. Super exciting, with the fans out there, and amazing. I really hope that everyone comes together and do that, because that's another big image that Nepal will be able to create around the world. So cricket is one thing which is uniting us, so we'll keep on getting it even more bigger, and hopefully that rubs off on all the other sports.
It took us 10 years to come and play the World Cup again, but we're trying to play the consecutive World Cups next year, August 2025 to be precise. As your 2-year contract approaches to its end in this January, has there been any discussions about utilizing the extension clause that we spoke about in your first interview?
Okay, so first of all, I need to also go back and read my contract with that extension clause, if it was in the contract or not. I don't know, so I have to read that. I haven't seen my contract, but I never thought of looking at my contract. And at the moment, obviously, there are no official conversations around extension from the CAN management. So we'll see where it ends. At the moment, I'm just focused on honoring my contract.
So what are the key aspects that you are focusing lead up to the World Cup qualifiers? With NPL being held, how important that we need to increase our player pool or see some specific talents that is not at your disposal at the current time?
So look, some players are already in place. For me at the moment, one of the most important message and the challenges, and I think CAN management also is aware of it, and we are trying to create budget around, is to have a center where players can fall back and enhance and hone their skills. I don't think we have a proper center yet where you have dedicated coaches who are just sitting there and making sure that, just like in India, we went to NCA, and we were lucky enough to be interacting with some of those NCA coaches who came and saw the players and gave some inputs. So any Indian player for the moment, they are all being sent back to NCA when they are not with the national team, and they start training there, or sometimes with the injuries they go there. We need to have that center very soon where players can fall back and enhance and hone their skills, but more importantly also for our A team. I think our A team needs to travel abroad also. So the situation that we have faced with our national team, if we can also have our A team traveling in alien conditions, and then if you see some of those youngsters, for that matter Arjun Kumal, I still remember him from what he has done in under 19. We want to see how well he does through his NPL, and then for that matter under 19 matches, which is going to happen. Today is a game, right? So we'll have to see again what he leaves as a statement out there. And then the PM Cup. If some of these youngsters build their case and play well through all these games, and then for Nepal A team away games, then obviously they have put their hand up to walk into the national side. Those are the kind of thoughts in the head, and I've kind of put across a message, but it needs to not just be penned down, it needs to be implemented very soon.
We're towards the end. Coming back to the NPL, who do you think is favourite to win this year's NPL? I hope to get a clear answer rather than a diplomatic one this time.
No, I haven't followed every team very closely in terms of the team balance, so I really cannot answer which franchise will win it. Maybe if I watch each and every team's one game, I will be able to understand their balance. I think with 8 teams, what I've understood from the time when we were in Canada, these auctions were going on from Jagatji, the coaches and the senior players, that with 8 teams, there is a bit of challenge with all 7 quality players locally to walk in. So there are new faces will walk in. In that regards, the seniors, how they take the responsibility. And that's my message again. They have played a lot of cricket. They have played more than 40 T20 games this year. At least all the seniors were part of the national team. I want to see how many of those critical games they win it on their own. You can't win all, but if 7 league games, right, for them, they should at least win 3 on their own. That is the message that you are, putting it across, and that's the kind of insight which the youngsters in their dressing room should get it. That okay, the players that they admire, they win the games like this, and the learnings that they can take it at home. The youngsters who are part of that franchise, and of course how the overseas will mingle. That is an important thing as well. I think overseas who are here, the CAN management, the fans, if I can put it that way, including myself, our expectation would be how openly they share their knowledge, how openly they embrace these young dreams and mingle with them and create a great dressing room will make a difference. So my answer to your question without being diplomatic is the best happy dressing room will win the tournament.
Another big thing in this tournament is the best Nepali player will get a car.
Wonderful.
It's a dream of many Nepal still now, and the players are getting this chance. So as you said, winning the matches on their own, you kept the benchmark for the national players, but who do you think has chance to drive home the car?
How to name, huh?
Name a few.
I'll name a few. Batters is the T20. The batters should take it home, ideally. Again, a tough one, frankly. Again, I'll be diplomatic, it looks like. Alright, let me give 3 top names. Considering the way they have played under pressure and crossed the lines for the team, I would say Dipendra Eri, one. I would say Rohit, for sure, because that's the way he has played some of those games and he finishes the games as well, if with the bat. I would like to see one of the two, Hasif or Anil, who can make sure that they hammer it with their bat, because they are in good touch. They have actually improved their game. So I really feel that one of the two can challenge and take it home with the bat and bring in that winning games where it makes a difference and probably the reason for getting the vehicle. But maybe the other side is someone like Gulshan Jha, who has been doing well with the bat and the ball. You never know. So I'll keep it to these many at the moment. Others can probably say, Coach, you were wrong. I'm the one who's winning it.
Thank you, Gus. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.